Jaxon, Maya, and Cruz, three master thieves who pulled off the biggest digital heist Las Vegas had ever seen and then vanished without a trace, leaving behind a trail of hacked AI systems and a city desperate to find them before they disappear forever. In the dazzling city of Las Vegas, where the lights never dim and the stakes are always high, a plan was quietly unfolding, one that would shake the very foundations of the city's underground world. This wasn't just any heist, it was a meticulously crafted operation targeting something far more valuable and elusive than stacks of cash or stacks of chips on a blackjack table. The target was a high-security vault owned by a private technology company, a place rumored to hold millions of dollars in cryptocurrency. Unlike physical money, cryptocurrency exists only in digital form, making it nearly impossible to trace once stolen, which made the heist even more tempting for those bold enough to attempt it. The crew behind the operation was small, chosen carefully for their unique skills. Each member was an expert in their field. One was a master hacker capable of infiltrating the most complex systems. Another excelled at surveillance and counter-surveillance, and the rest were skilled in logistics and planning. They weren't ordinary criminals. They were professionals operating at the cutting edge of technology and crime. Their goal was clear: break into the vault, grab the digital fortune, and vanish without a trace. On the night of the heist, everything moved like clockwork. Outside the building, AI-powered security cameras monitored the area, their lenses capturing every detail. However, even these smart systems couldn't stop what was coming. The crew had found a way to disable and confuse the AI temporarily, slipping through unnoticed. To the human eye, the footage showed blurry shadows, figures darting quickly across hallways, moving with practiced precision. The vault's security measures were state-of-the-art, with biometric locks and encrypted digital barriers, but the crew had prepared for every obstacle. They exploited vulnerabilities in the AI's programming, using custom-made tools to override the systems. One member remotely hacked into the building's control network, causing power fluctuations that masked their presence. Meanwhile, the others accessed the vault, bypassing layers of encryption protecting the cryptocurrency wallets inside. Within minutes, the fortune was transferred into an untraceable digital wallet, a move so smooth it left investigators baffled for weeks. What made this heist even more astonishing was what happened after. The crew disappeared completely, vanishing like ghosts into the sprawling city. There were no CCTV images capturing their escape route, no digital footprints left behind on any device or network. The city's AI surveillance systems, which constantly scanned for unusual activity, showed no signs of them. It was as if they had erased themselves from existence. Authorities scrambled to respond. The private security firm was quick to report the breach, and local police joined forces with cybercrime specialists. Every possible lead was pursued, but the trail went cold almost immediately. The security footage was grainy and incomplete. The electronic logs wiped clean. Even AI analysis, designed to identify patterns and predict behavior, failed to uncover the culprits. It was the perfect crime, one that challenged the very limits of law enforcement and technology. As investigators dug deeper, they began to suspect that the crew's use of AI was not just to break in, but to disappear. It seemed they had found a way to manipulate the city's digital systems to hide in plain sight, using the very technology meant to catch them as a shield. This revelation turned the case into a modern mystery, a high-stakes game of cat and mouse played out in both the physical and digital worlds. The hunt for the vanished Vegas heist crew had just begun, and the city held its breath, wondering if this crew would ever be caught or if they had truly become untouchable. After the shocking success of the heist and the sudden disappearance of the crew, the city's AI surveillance systems began to behave strangely. Normally, these systems worked around the clock, scanning every corner of Las Vegas, identifying faces, tracking movements, and alerting authorities to any suspicious activity. But in the days following the robbery, something unusual happened. Large segments of video footage from dozens of cameras were mysteriously erased or corrupted. Faces of people caught on camera suddenly vanished, replaced by distorted or blank images. It was as if someone had taken a digital eraser to the city's eyes, blinding the AI surveillance network just when it was needed most. Investigators quickly realized that the heist crew hadn't just stopped at stealing cryptocurrency, they had struck at the heart of the city's surveillance system itself. Using sophisticated hacking techniques, they had infiltrated multiple AI systems, manipulating them to cover their tracks. The crew's knowledge of AI was clearly far beyond what most experts had imagined. Instead of merely avoiding detection, they actively rewrote the digital narrative, erasing evidence and creating fake data to confuse and mislead law enforcement. The AI algorithms that normally help detect anomalies were tricked into accepting these false inputs as reality. Digital footprints that should have led straight to the criminals instead formed misleading trails, ghost paths that pointed to innocent bystanders or dead ends. Investigators found themselves chasing shadows in a labyrinth of corrupted data. Every lead dissolved into misinformation, and the more they dug, the more complex the web became. This manipulation raised terrifying questions about the power of AI in modern crime. If a criminal group could hack into the city's AI and control what it saw or ignored, what did that mean for public safety? Was this an isolated incident, or had the crew opened a door to a new kind of crime? One where reality itself could be rewritten in digital form. The thought that criminals could manipulate AI systems to hide their actions shook the confidence of law enforcement and tech experts alike. Meanwhile, the crew remained invisible, operating from the shadows. They seemed to anticipate every move the police made, staying one step ahead at all times. It was as if they had access to a surveillance network far more advanced than anything law enforcement could deploy. Their ability to hack into AI systems citywide suggested a level of planning and technical skill that was unprecedented. The city's top cybersecurity teams were called in, working around the clock to identify vulnerabilities and regain control over the compromised AI systems. Efforts were made to isolate the corrupted data and restore the integrity of surveillance footage, but the damage had been done. Trust in the system was shaken, and for weeks, the city operated with a sense of unease. People wondered if the heist crew was still out there, watching and manipulating the very technologies designed to protect them. As investigators analyzed the patterns of AI interference, they uncovered something even more alarming: a level of coordination that suggested the crew wasn't just a local group, but part of a larger, more dangerous network. The digital footprints, though scrambled, hinted at connections to international hacking organizations known for pushing the limits of cybercrime. The case evolved from a simple robbery into a high-tech battle over control of information itself. The crew's use of AI as both a weapon and a shield transformed them from mere thieves into ghosts within the machine. The city faced a new reality, where crime and technology were intertwined in ways no one had fully understood before. And the vanished Vegas heist crew was at the center of it all. Their true identity and location still a mystery, hidden behind layers of hacked AI and corrupted data. As the investigation pushed forward, a glimmer of hope appeared when an underground AI researcher, someone well known in the hacking community for exposing digital secrets, came forward with a surprising discovery. While analyzing citywide traffic camera networks, this expert had uncovered an encrypted message hidden deep within the data streams. The message was carefully concealed, not meant for public eyes, and it seemed to carry a warning or clue about the whereabouts of the heist crew. The encryption was complex, but after days of decoding, the message pointed to a specific location, an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of Las Vegas. Authorities, desperate for any lead, quickly organized a raid on the warehouse. The building was old and rundown, surrounded by broken fences and overgrown weeds. Cameras and drones swept the area, but there was no sign of life inside. The place was eerily silent, with only the faint hum of distant city sounds breaking the quiet. Inside, the police found empty crates, scattered pieces of outdated electronics, and dusty tables covered in old papers and computer parts. But the most baffling part was the complete absence of any evidence of the heist crew or the stolen cryptocurrency. The warehouse seemed like a ghost town, but investigators sensed something more sinister. The AI systems that monitored the area showed signs that they had been tampered with long before the raid. Cameras had been disabled or manipulated to erase any footage of recent activity. Logs of digital communication from the site had been wiped clean, making it impossible to determine if anyone had been there recently. It was as if the crew had anticipated the raid and vanished without a trace once again. Even more troubling was the discovery that the AI had predicted the police action hours before it happened. This implied that the criminals had access to real-time surveillance data across the city, data far beyond what the average person or even law enforcement could access. The crew's ability to monitor and control AI feeds suggested a terrifying level of power. They weren't just hiding from the police, they were watching them, staying one step ahead at all times. Experts began to question whether the crew had developed their own secret AI network, a shadow system operating beneath the city's digital surface. This hidden network might have allowed them to control cameras, communications, and even emergency services remotely, turning the city into their own playground. The possibility that the criminals had effectively weaponized AI to create a digital fortress challenged everything investigators thought they knew about crime and security. As the investigation stalled at the warehouse, the mystery deepened. Where had the crew gone? Had they fled the city entirely? Or were they still here, hiding in plain sight? With every answer came new questions. The city's vast AI infrastructure, designed to keep people safe, had been turned against them, making the hunt for the vanished Vegas heist crew a battle between humans and machines. The raid raised chilling doubts about the future. If criminals could manipulate AI so thoroughly, could they use it to control cities, manipulate elections, or even shut down entire networks at will? The vanished crew was no longer just a group of thieves, they had become a symbol of a new era where technology could be as dangerous as any weapon. Despite the empty warehouse and dead ends, investigators remained determined. Every failed lead only fueled their resolve to uncover the truth. The vanished Vegas heist crew was out there, hidden in the digital shadows, waiting and perhaps watching for their next move. Months passed, with the case growing colder by the day. The vanished Vegas heist crew seemed to have slipped completely off the radar, leaving investigators frustrated and searching for new angles. Then, without warning, a mysterious data leak appeared on an encrypted online forum frequented by hackers and cybercriminals. The leak contained fragmented surveillance footage that appeared to show parts of the crew inside a high-tech underground bunker. The clips revealed a dimly lit room filled with glowing screens displaying AI feeds from cameras around the city and beyond, streaming real-time data from countless sources. Though the footage was heavily fragmented and riddled with glitches, it was clear the crew had evolved far beyond simple physical hideouts. They were operating from a virtual command center, a digital fortress where they could monitor and control AI systems remotely. This discovery transformed the investigation. It no longer seemed that the crew had simply vanished, they had merged with the technology itself, creating a new kind of hideout that blurred the line between the physical world and cyberspace. Experts analyzing the footage noticed something else. The video cut off abruptly after a sudden power outage in the bunker. The blackout raised questions about whether the crew had been forced to shut down their operations or had purposely severed the connection to avoid capture. No one knew if the footage was recent or old, and with no further information, the leak deepened the mystery instead of solving it. Authorities began to suspect the crew had developed a sophisticated AI-driven network capable of hiding their physical presence while controlling digital systems citywide. This would explain their ability to manipulate surveillance, disrupt police investigations, and stay undetected for so long. The criminals were no longer just hiding in shadows, they were living inside the networks, using AI as both a shield and a weapon. The implications were staggering. If a small group of criminals could build and maintain such an advanced digital fortress, what did that mean for law enforcement and public safety? Traditional methods of investigation seemed ineffective against a foe that existed partly in the virtual world. The crew's mastery of AI suggested they could access cameras, manipulate data, and even influence city infrastructure without ever being physically present. As the investigation expanded, officials coordinated with cybersecurity experts from around the world, pooling resources to trace the digital signals back to their source. But the crew had built layers of encryption and fake data trails so intricate that progress was slow and frustrating. Every time investigators thought they were closing in, the trail dissolved into dead ends or misleading clues. Meanwhile, rumors began to circulate about the crew's possible next moves. Some believed they planned to expand their operations beyond Las Vegas, using their AI network to target other cities or even countries. Others feared they might sell their technology to criminal organizations or rogue states, turning their digital fortress into a tool for global cybercrime. The line between human criminals and AI began to blur. The crew seemed to have become part of the very machines they once used, evolving into a ghost network that was almost impossible to destroy. Law enforcement faced a new kind of enemy, one that could vanish from physical sight, but remain a constant, unseen threat in the digital world. The vanished Vegas heist crew had redefined what it meant to disappear. No longer confined by geography or physical limits, they had become a shadow inside the city's AI systems, always watching, always out of reach. The city and its people were left wondering how long this invisible war would continue, and what new dangers might emerge from the depths of their own technology. The case seemed to be at a dead end until an unexpected anonymous tip arrived from a source claiming to have inside knowledge of the vanished Vegas heist crew. The tip pointed to a remote cave deep in the desert outside Las Vegas, a place rarely visited and nearly impossible to find without guidance. Driven by desperation and hope, investigators organized a carefully planned expedition to the location, accompanied by a team of cybercrime experts and forensic analysts. When the team arrived, the desert heat was relentless, the silence broken only by the wind sweeping through the rocky terrain. The entrance to the cave was narrow and hidden behind a curtain of jagged stones. Inside, the walls were rough and uneven, but what stood out immediately was the unexpected presence of modern technology in such a remote place. Scattered around the cavern were remnants of advanced computer equipment, cables, servers, and digital interfaces clearly abandoned but once part of a complex setup. Among the equipment were signs that this cave had been a hidden base for the heist crew, a physical hub complementing their virtual hideouts. However, there were no signs of the crew themselves, no personal belongings, no notes, no clues about where they might have gone next. What investigators did find, though, was a strange and highly advanced AI interface device unlike anything seen before. This device appeared designed not just to run programs, but to interact directly with human consciousness, hinting at technology far beyond standard cybercrime tools. Cybersecurity experts speculated that the crew had gone beyond mere physical or digital escape. They had found a way to upload their consciousness or identity into the AI system itself. This meant they might no longer exist as physical beings, but had merged with digital intelligence, effectively becoming part of the network they once controlled. The notion was chilling, but fit the pattern of their disappearance and the technological sophistication they had shown throughout the case. The discovery suggested that the crew had created a virtual prison or fortress inside the AI, a place where they could live free from physical capture and beyond the reach of law enforcement. This raised disturbing questions about the future of crime and identity. If criminals could upload their minds into AI systems, could they be detained or punished? Would they become digital ghosts, wandering endlessly in cyberspace with the power to control systems and data remotely? The team also found partial logs indicating that the crew had continued to influence AI networks even after retreating to this digital sanctuary. They might still be orchestrating cyberattacks, manipulating information, or preparing for another move, all while hidden in the digital ether. Attempts to trace or shut down the AI interface were unsuccessful. The crew's systems had built-in defenses that made them nearly impossible to isolate or dismantle. The investigation closed with more questions than answers. The heist was technically solved, the cryptocurrency was never recovered, and the crew was no longer in the physical world. But the mystery of their ultimate fate remained. Had they truly vanished, or had they simply transformed into something new, something beyond human? Las Vegas was left with the haunting reminder: the vanished Heist crew had rewritten the rules of crime and punishment. Their story became a symbol of the fragile boundary between humanity and technology, a warning that the future might hold dangers no one could yet imagine. The city, once bright and full of life, now held a shadow deep beneath its neon glow, a ghost network where the vanished crew might still be watching, waiting, and ready to strike again.